Okay, so we're playing a Grandmaster. Don't let that rating deceive you. Okay guys, after 3 videos, you're going to see your boy Robram take this account to 2400, and he's going to start against a 2259. Okay, f4, okay, f4, f5, and now you see this kind of gambit trying to get the initiative quickly. Now, don't forget, the last 2 videos, we saw him taking this account from 22 something to 2300, then to 2350, and now finally to 2400. For those of you who don't know me, you still keep asking, guys, I'm Tato the Folker, and feel free to check out my channel to learn more about what I do. So far here, this is a very easy first game. We're playing a 2259, and this sort of got a little bit out of hands by the black pieces. King is already exposed, unable to castle, and the white bishop is coming to c4 no matter what. So let's see if the white pieces can convert this into a win quickly. So I can see bishop c4, I can see knight f3. Alright, and now should we take with the pawn or with the bishop? I think we should leave the bishop on the board, so probably take with the pawn. Alright. Nope, so this is looking more like simplification. And to be honest, guys, this is already winning. We have 2 extra pawns, but now that king is not that bad in the center. Without the queens, there's not that big of an attack. Now, don't forget, think if this were your game, what would you do, guys? I think I personally would have liked to see the queen stay on the board, trying to get to that king, but of course he knows what he's doing. All right, king d1, stay out of trouble, and you're going to be fine. There you go. Knight f3. Yeah, if that knight gets to e5, then the e file is going to be blocked, and this should be a pretty easy endgame for us. The only thing that we have left is to develop the other knight, and don't forget, ooh, fork. There you go, fork, and that's it, guys. Don't be surprised if they just resign. That's it. Okay, so we made it to 2360, not bad. And I hope that he doesn't play the birch opening again. Okay, black pieces. And okay, so we should be, okay, I thought it was going to be a King's Indian defense, but now it's looking more like a Pirc defense. All right, good. Now I'm glad that the white pieces took, because you get to see how he plays this opening with the double pawns on the f file. For the most part, we want to utilize the semi-open file that we get on E. And also, we want to find a way to do f5 at some point. Okay, guys, we're being attacked on the flank, so we are supposed to strike the center. Don't forget that principle. All right, there we go. Just developing our pieces. Simplification is fine. Now, pay attention when the white pieces did f3. e3 became weak, so the dark squares are going to be suffering because the white pieces traded that bishop on f6. I don't think that was a good idea. They should have kept the pair of bishops. Now, they keep pushing the h pawn, but look, their queen is passive, knight is not even developed, so I don't think that attack is going to lead to anything. But I might be wrong. And like he just showed us, the pawn on d4 is hanging because the e2 knight is... Oh, tactics, guys, tactics in the air. Yep. There we go. Forget about the pawn on d4. Now we get away with that check, and that's it. Okay, guys, another easy game, nothing too crazy. Notice how the attacker ended up being attacked. All right, another interesting game. b3, bishop b2. We do, guys, anything that is not e4. We're going to do our King's Indian defense setup. That's it. Now we gotta do e5, and if they take, we could do knight g4. That's it. Leave the pawn pinned, knight g4, because the bishop on b2 would be hanging. Not a fan of that move order, but I guess it could work. How about knight d5? Now look at this. I like knight d5, guys. Pause the video if you need to, but try to use this opportunity to calculate. Okay, so if they had done knight d5 and then knight takes d7, we could do bishop takes b2, hitting the rook, and then knight c3, and the queen is almost trapped. But at least we're going to get their rook. So I don't know if I'm off, but it's definitely worth considering. Now notice how the white pieces are taking a lot of time. Yeah, if they take on g4, we take on e5. Okay, so they're giving us the bishop. And then when the rook moves, we just go back to safety. And we still down a pawn, but we got compensation, guys. We are heading development, we got the pair of bishops. Now you see they cannot castle because we were hitting on d3. So we continue to play energetically like that. We have to be energetic. Alright, trying to do b5. Now, once the queen gets to e7, I can see my rook getting to the 8, very nice. Even at some point doing something like knight e4. So, let's see. Okay, now I think knight e4 comes easily and we're getting to c3. And I don't think there's anything they could do to stop that, guys. So that's a fact. The knight is going to c3. Now, is it going with a fork or not? That's a different story. But that's a powerful knight. We have a very powerful bishop. And again, that is compensation. Bishop c3 and then... okay, so we take, then knight c3. Now, pre-moving, guys, is dangerous. So I don't think... no need. Almost 2 minutes. There you go, you see? They pre-moved, their opponent did c4. This is just a disaster. Now, locally, discover on the rook. There you go, knight takes e2. We get the rook, unless they take with the rook. But now, we're just, guys, ahead by a piece. Look, we're playing a 23-65. This guy had plenty of time, and they're playing too fast. All right. The only way we're going to lose this game is if we play too fast, if we blunder a piece. Look, not only with up a piece, but their king is pretty exposed. That queen is going to the opposite side of the board. This is going to be trouble. I could see queen h4, then the bishop, the rooks come in. This has to be winning already. No, not the check, because then they move and bring the rook over. So, gain a tempo on h3, and then we have learned about rook lift. Rook e5. You know what? I would even do now rook d5. That way the queen is not hitting any of my rooks. If I do rook e5, the d8 rook is defended, but not nice. So there we go. Yep. And not that we care, but we're even pinning the pawn on b5. So that's another benefit. But I think after, okay, we take on h3. And then after rook h5, this game has to be over, guys. Queen h1 is impossible to be stopped. Yep, there you go. That's it. Rook h5. And then if they do queen g3, then queen h5 checkmate. Queen h2, we take it, also checkmate. That's it. All right, so not bad. So we got to 23-74. Let's see how this goes. And black pieces again. And this is the English opening. Again, anything other than e4, we do our King's Indian defense setup. Now that plan, we learned it on lesson number 85. Okay. Now that knight makes sense. Even though, okay, bishop g4, pinning the knight. Okay. Now notice how both knights are a little bit odd on the edges, but this is just temporary, guys. f5 we're more than familiar with. So now careful, look, there's no pin on the e2 knight anymore, so we gotta be careful. h3 might be trapping the knight, I mean the bishop, but right now I could always take. Yep. All right, so knight comes to the center. Now that knight, many of you might be thinking, okay, if I put the knight on c5, they could simply take me with the bishop, but again, they'll be giving us the pair of bishops, and when we take back with the pawn, d4 is going to be ours. Alright guys, pause the video. What would you do? If you're black, what would you do in these positions? Alright, queen h4. Not only are we putting more pressure on g3, but even bishop h3, trying to get to that king. Also, the rook from a8 is the only piece that is not involved. We could easily bring it over to e8. Free pawn, be careful. Be careful with the discovered attack on your queen. Very, very careful. Okay guys, there you go. Pause the video. If you need to pause the video, what would you do in this position? Alright, I guess he doesn't care about the discovered attack, and it happened. So now the queen is being attacked. What do we do? Look, queen is gonna get on the same file as the king, but also on the same diagonal as the white queen. So knight h3 check, collect the queen on d2. Very, very interesting. And of course, the knight on f5 is being attacked. Alright, I'm impressed. I think this guy is playing better now than when he was playing at the 2200, 2350 level. Okay, interesting. Alright, we don't even need to take back on g7, because we just got that queen, guys. Game over. That's it. And this is a 2400 player. That's it. Good game. We go to the next one. Alright, white pieces, e4, excellent. And Sicilian defense. So we're gonna be seeing a King-Indian attack. So many lessons, so many videos on this. Also, if you go to my channel, Tato the Forker, you're gonna see me using this opening successfully. Actually, I've been destroyed sometimes, but it's definitely a very easy opening to get to the middle game and then outplay your opponent. Look at that diagonal for the fianchetto bishop. It's getting opened, and that could be trouble. Oh, e6, interesting. There's another lesson where he talked about these pawn sacrifices to gain the initiative. So consider it. Would you do e6? Not really. Would you prepare it better? So let me know, guys, in the comments. You can always let us know. But yeah, he did it. So don't worry about it. Now, let's see if what he has been teaching us, let's see if he actually uses it in his games. So bishop e6 is happening. Otherwise, they get doubled pawns. They get g6 a little bit weak. So bishop takes e6, and then we gotta follow up with knight g5. All right, I gotta say this is hard to this is hard to justify. But at the end of the day, we're only down a pawn. If we manage to develop quickly, we could get some compensation. Not to the edge. There you go, knight to the center. Knight f4. Now, notice that g5 is hanging, but if they do queen takes g5, then knight e6 is just devastating, guys. Discovering with the bishop, my rook on the same file as that king. Tactics have to be in the air. Also, look at all the candidate moves right now. Knight takes e6, either knight takes f7. All of this is something we have to consider it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we just cannot ignore these moves. All right. So, knight e6, knight f7, even knight d5. All of these captures we have to consider, guys. Or maybe we just prepare it better. Nope, he's not going to prepare anything. All right. This just got interesting. Now, notice how... Okay, so now after we take on g6, we're only down a point, but their king is in the center, and this could turn into a very tactical position. Yeah, bishop h3 is coming. Now, not only are we attacking the knight, we're pinning it. And with that knight being pinned, we could take the bishop on g7. So many things happening. Okay, that's an elegant way to get away from that. Okay guys, what would you do? What would you do if you were the white pieces? Well, a nice move here is bishop g5. We continue to develop, and now we have an absolute pin on the king, and we have a relative pin. And of course, the only thing we need to do now is to incorporate the queen into the attack. All right, now careful with the rook. Rook's hanging. I guess we could do... oh, no, I don't think he saw it. No, you're not going to take that for free. Yeah, I think he just blundered the rook, guys. And this is painful. He had something. I think he had something here, but now I'm not so sure. Yeah, that's just a mistake. And now you can see how these games, guys, they really get to us. He knew he had something, it's taken away, and now it really affects us psychologically. So now you're gonna see him playing quicker. He seems a little bit more desperate. That's part of the process. I think he should show some respect now and just resign. There's not much more for him to do here. That's it. Yeah, trying to take on f3. Yeah, activate the pieces, nothing else. And unfortunately, that king on d6 is safe for now, at least for now. Fork. All right, now look, he could get the 2 rooks for the queen, but even in that case, he was already losing by just too much. Okay, queen b2. Now look, this is just this is just desperation. Check. On the last bit of hope that the white pieces had here. Oof, almost almost made it net. But they just need more pieces. If they had another piece around, maybe, but there's no way. All right, he doesn't want to let go. I know, it hurts. Yeah, checkmate on f1, and that's it. All right, guys, it happens. We're back to 2375, and now, okay, so he's blaming it now on the board. So he changed it, okay? Nah, just kidding. All right, so knight f3, it looks like he wants to get into another King's Indian attack. So we start with the fianchetto. Now, this could turn into something, into anything, guys. It could turn into an English. Here you could see fianchetto variation against the King's Indian defense. All right, so he's keeping it simple, taking his opponent to this middle game position without queens. Oop, knight d5, give me material. Give me the bishop. Oof, or give me the rook. Now, notice how this is a 2200 player, guys, and they're playing just fast. This shouldn't be happening. All right, rook to the semi-open file. That bishop is very good defending, but at the end of the day, it's just like a pawn. So, middle game plan, let's try to first be prophylactic. Just don't give those bishops any edges. Try to close the diagonals and open up files for our rooks. Okay, so if you have bishops, you want to open up the diagonals. If you have rooks, you want to open up files. If you have knights, you don't want to open up anything. Just keep the position closed, right? So f4, interesting move. And if they take, then we could do e5 in the future. Nope. Alright, so now the bishop could travel through the light squares and at least get to g6. Yep. So that bishop went from being not so active to being really powerful now on the king side. Alright, time to bring the king up. And now this is simple. King g2 is just to allow the rook to go to the h file. We're trying to open up files for our rooks, just like we talked about. Yep. Oof, mistake. Now, if they take with, yeah, c7 is hanging. So bishop e7 was a mistake. But now, if they take with the f pawn, we get a protected passed pawn. If they had taken with the h pawn, we get an open file anyways. Alright guys, very nice move, bishop e8. If they take, we take on e7 with the fork on the king, the bishop, the pawn. We're also hitting that pawn on b7. We got a pawn on d5 that is protected and passed, just like the one on f5. So this is a position that even if you let them make mistakes, you just hold this position in place, they're just going to collapse. Yep, that's it. Now, take on e5 or take on b7, what would you do? Pause the video, think. Why are you doing this position? All right, so he's taking there. Yep, I think, okay, king f6 was uncomfortable. Okay. Now activate the other rook. We're going to either c6 or to the 7th rank. Don't be surprised if the black pieces just resign. This is just too much. Yeah, there you go, perfect. And we made it to 2379, all right. Like always, guys, don't forget, if this is too quick for you, you can always pause the video, rewind, and try to analyze these positions, okay? So black pieces, okay, knight c3, knight f6. If they do e4, ooh, no. All right, so this is interesting because they give us a pawn hoping to get ahead in development. This is a almost a 2300 player, so we have to be very, very careful. So look at that. This is they're studying an attack that doesn't really make sense because my king is not on the king side. Okay, so now just continue to develop. Now it looks like they're gonna castle to the queen side, and you know c6. We learned this in lesson. I think he covered it in lesson 70. But now here's the thing: that attack that they want to try to accomplish is not going to lead to anything because the black pieces could even castle queen side, and that's it. There you go, knight b to d7, fully developed, castle queen side. They got nothing for that pawn that they gave us. All right, every time a pawn moves, weaknesses are created. You can see how g4 is a good square for our knight right now. Okay. Okay, interesting. If e5, we could do knight d5. Yep. All right, knight g4. That's a very powerful move. If they take rook d7, and then if they go back to g5, I think we could do f6, and the bishop is trapped. All right, I gotta say, yeah, I think he walked right into it. Now, bishop has to go back, right? Is it trapped? And then f6. Oh no. Is he looking for knight c4? Well, guys, let me know in the comments if you see the reason why he didn't do f6, but I think f6 was winning. Maybe he didn't see a3. And also tell me, since you're already there typing, let me know what you think about this position. I think it's very bizarre, very weird, but that's also interesting because you could see how he handles these positions. Now, do we go to being passive on f8 or do we go bishop h6? Well, if it's me, I'm not going to be passive. I got to go to h6. I don't want to be blocking my rook or anything like that. Is that a discovered? Yeah, discovered attack on the queen. Ooh, fork. Now, if they had taken with the pawn, they would leave us with a passed pawn, protected passed pawn on h5. Now, this fork, I think now we're gonna be, this should be pretty, oof, no. So look at this, we cannot take the rook because the queen is hanging. And if we take the queen, then the rook takes back and they stay away from trouble. Oof, that was a nice defense, nice. All right, isolated pawn is going to fall, and then d5 is being attacked. Interesting. Now, guys, look at that. That's a passed pawn, but now it's weak. It's not defended. And be very careful with a move like rook e7. It looks nice, but no, that's it. That pawn was pinned, and knight is defending the promotion square. That's it. Simple tactic. He missed it. This is the price. And again, guys, 2300 player playing fast. Over a minute left. All right, 2385. Let's get to the next one. Okay, so we're playing a Grandmaster. Don't let that rating deceive you. He got that title for a reason, so we have to be very careful. King's India, ooh, he's playing fast. Now, this is no problem, like I was telling you in the other game with the King's Indian defense. Whenever you see that, you could leave the pawn pinned on the fianchetto bishop, and you're going to be fine. But I think he shouldn't have done e4 so prematurely. Yeah, this guy, it looks like he's gonna have to accept that he dropped a pawn. Now guys, whenever this happens, like I know he's had a few lessons about this. You drop material, you get compensation if you continue to play energetically. But many times what happens to me is that I get into these positions by accident. I drop a pawn, I drop a piece, and I need to get into this beast mode. So you see, this is what it is. They left the pawn there, attacking the queen, just being energetic. Knight d6, not so sure. I think, yeah, I think we have to take on d3, or even, you know what, knight c3, just getting to develop as quickly as possible. All right. There you go. Now, if that knight gets to b5, this is the kind of complications that we need. Now, also, we could bring the rook to d1. I like this. We're down a pawn, but my opponent is far from completing development. So we could use, is knight d5 winning? Yep, I think so. So now we have two different forks, c7 or d6. There has to be something for us right here. There you go, guys. And again, don't believe for a moment that he sacrificed that pawn on e4. It was an accident, but when he saw himself into that situation, he knew he had to play energetically, go for that. Hey, okay, so interesting move. Again, feel free to pause the video. What would you do if this were you playing as the white pieces? Well, it's very simple. If I move my queen to safety, they're going to continue with the same problems that they had. So now the question is, do I go to f3 or do I go somewhere else? I think queen e2 is interesting. Queen f3 makes sense because you're controlling the diagonal. So that queen, the black queen, could always put us in check. So queen f3 is taking care of that. And we're also putting pressure on the a8 rook. Now, we took care of the problem, and they have to deal with our threats. All right, I think knight c7 is happening. So should we trade queens first and then fork? Or fork, no, fork first. And then also here, should we do rook d1? Check. Should we do queen takes queen? Should we do knight a8? Look at your candidate moves and do not rush. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the knight is going to be able to get out. Okay, so now check. Ooh, wait. This is interesting. Block with a check. Time to bring the king back to safety. Okay, I guess trying to bring the knight to c7 safely. Now guys, the last thing you want is to get into time pressure with a grandmaster. So this is the only concerning part here. There you go. Yeah, these guys are like magicians. They could take these positions where they're in trouble and turn them into a win in no time. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is not looking good, guys. There's no increment. Not looking good. Oh, yeah, Desperado. At least I'm going to take something for that knight. It was trapped, so at least they took a pawn. Now this is looking better for white. Ooh, check. There we go, simple tactic. We take on d5. Yeah, that's it, guys, that's it. Ooh, no. Alright, so that was not a brilliant tactic like I was expecting, but there you go. Interesting game, and now let's go to the next. No, come on, bird's opening again. Okay, so look. Like I told you on the very first video of this Speedrun. He's just trying to show us it's all about making it to the middle game safely and then play chess. That's it. You've seen the bird a lot in the first video, up the way to 2300. You saw it again a few times on 23 to 2350, and now you're seeing it one more time. So it's just putting the pieces where they belong, get to the middle game, play chess. Yeah, there you go. Powerful bishop now on f3, pinning the knight. The rook that is doing nothing on a1, we gotta bring it to e1. Same thing that you've been seeing over and over. All right, there you go. Now don't forget, the pawn structure is telling us where we should be expanding. We should be attacking on the king side. Now trade bishops, the king is gonna be weaker, and then we could even do a rook lift to attack that king. Oh, queens are hanging. Queen is hanging. He got very nice games with this opening, to be honest. So I guess it's time to bring the other rook to f1. Okay, makes sense. I understand why he did it, but I get a bad feeling about this queen being completely on the other side of the board. And now they could get trapped. Well, I guess he could at the very least do rook a3 and try to get out that way. Oof, every time we move a pawn, weaknesses are created, and that's why the knight now found a good square on c4. Now, yeah, we could take the queen after they move the rook, then take on d6, which is going to be hanging, and then after that, we're going to be taking on f5 because the rook is pinning the g6 pawn. Okay, oh no, they gave us the exchange. All right, that was the pin. Now, interesting. Guys, this is a 2373, and they're playing so fast. Just too fast. Okay, check, in between move. Now, if that queen makes it to the king side, the game is over. That's the only thing that they need. Yep, they're helping that queen get exactly where it needs to get. Now, after the queen goes to h4, we could even do queen g5, queen h6 checkmate. This is just too much. Yep, that's it, guys. 23. Oh, come on, 23.99. All right, so they forced us to play one more game to make it to 2400. And again, anything that is not e4, we play our King's Indian defense. Yep. Now look, we're playing a 2009, so this is like 390 points difference, but we have to be very careful, especially when we are so close to reaching our goal, guys. Just like I told you with a Grandmaster, don't let their rating deceive you. You don't know how many times I've gotten destroyed by players that have a lower rating. You never know, okay? So we gotta play our best chess. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't feel comfortable with that queen. And bishop f5 is not even possible because they have rook b2 and then they take on b7. And I want you to pay attention to the pawn structure. Like always, the pawn structure is going to tell you what your middle game plan should be for the most part, guys. So they got hanging pawns on d4 and c4. And one of the benefits of these pawns is that they also get semi-open files. That's why the bishop is slaved on c8. Because if it moves, rook b2, rook b7 is coming. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this 2009 player is playing better than everyone else so far. So we have to be very, very careful. Yeah, there you go. Oop, careful. Careful, there you go. Now, I have to tell you, you as a player, you stop playing like this, having your queen by herself on the other side of the board. You're gonna stop doing this after you lose games like I have, guys. You're going to learn the hard way that it's just not a good idea. It was not worth it to take that pawn. Now f6, it comes with the tempo on the bishop, but it's sort of a, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. Yeah, that's a very annoying bishop to have. And again, I cannot move the bishop from c8 as the black piece is because of b7. Okay, so that queen is trying to get away from trouble over to the king side, but that cannot happen. So queen going back to d8, very passive. Look, here the black pieces, if they could, they'll give the pawn back just to get some activity. Okay, move. Now d5, they move the c pawn. Okay, I was gonna say the knight wanted to get there, but there's no knight anymore. So maybe the bishop gets to d5. But that's another thing about hanging pawns. They want to remain next to each other. The moment one of them moves, then weaknesses are created. In this case, the d5 square. Now bishop e6, maybe trying to get to d5. But the problem is that they could go now rook b7. Yep. Oh man, this guy is playing really well. I have to say, now rook takes rook followed by, yep, queen takes and then rook e7. Yep, this has to be losing. This has to be losing for black. And this is going to be painful because, of course, anyone could defeat you, but since we're trying to get to 2400, losing this game is going to put us back probably like 15 points or something like that. Oof. Look at that. Super active pieces. And guys, if you're being destroyed like this, find a pawn and push it. That's basically the message from this game. That's the takeaway. Now, the truth is that our king's side seems pretty solid with those pawns right there. We have the bishops, we have the pawns, there you go. So he's trying, I guess, to distract him with the pass pawn. Yep, they're coming for it. Yep. Now, if we take on g5, their knight gets active. That's the last thing we need. Don't do that. f5, well, they get to e5. Ooh. I think that you have taken maybe bishop takes knight first. I cannot believe he's gonna, yeah. Queen h4. Well, time pressure. I think that the most experienced player should win this time pressure, guys. That's what typically happens in my experience. Yep, that queen went back, that's the end of the game. There's no pressure anymore. Yep, rook b1 is happening, or if they take on b8, we could take the rook, or simply take and then go to b1. That's it. Right, take the rook, then check, promote, and game over, guys. Alright, so this one, not proud of this game. Like always, guys, don't forget to let me know in the comments if you like this or not. Don't forget to subscribe and also visit my channel. Not so long lessons, just quick games, probably 3, 4, 5 minutes. And hopefully you like it as well.